Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. I'm Mara, the community manager here at Captions, and I'm joined with Eli.
Hey everybody, I work on the customer experience team and we're excited to present to you today all of our special LinkedIn customers.
Yes. Hopefully you all caught the webinar we had last week. If you didn't, we'll share the link so you can still catch up on it at the end of this webinar. But today we're going to be chatting about how you can build your brand and grow your audience on LinkedIn through video. Should we dive in?
Yeah, let's do it. I guess quick reminders, we are taking questions, Q&A. Mara will be able to see the questions. We've also got our colleague Hannah who's also taking questions, so she can chat to you throughout. We'll take questions throughout and just read them out as they come in. But yeah, just a quick thank you to all of our LinkedIn premium customers. Really awesome partnership we have with LinkedIn this month, so thank you for taking advantage of the offer of Captions Pro 1 year free. So let's dive in.
Let's chat. All right.
Cool. We already introduced ourselves, so hello again. We're going to be talking about growing your professional brand through video. So a couple items here in terms of agenda. First, we're going to talk about why you should be creating video on LinkedIn and why this is a great platform in which to share your video. Number two, how to choose your niche. We've got some examples lined up of particular creators that I follow and Mara follows that we think are doing a really great job. Number three, how to grow your audience. So if you are trying to grow your audience and find followers and find traction with whatever niche that you have, some methods and tactics to actually grow that audience. And then number four, which really should be sprinkled throughout, is FAQs and Q&A. So plenty of time at the end for questions.
All right, great.
Cool. So why create video content on LinkedIn? Thanks for asking.
I guess I would say LinkedIn, like many other platforms, is really seeing this big growth in video. I think most audiences, most people really like consuming and watching video. And video has become one of the fastest growing formats on LinkedIn, with video uploads up 34% year over year. So huge. I don't know about you, but if you've been on LinkedIn recently, you'll see that they even have an entire video tab. I feel like the majority of my feed, even just when on my regular feed, is a lot of video. A lot of people in my network that I follow are posting videos. And I think it's kind of matching that Instagram, TikTok feed where I can just scroll on my phone and kind of consume at a different rate than I would if I were reading something.
Yeah, and actually, if you're watching us on a computer or even on your phone, take out your phone, go to LinkedIn, and check out the bottom navigation. I think something that might be surprising that kind of happened. I don't know when, but it just kind of happened. I didn't give it much thought, but you've got your home feed on the bottom left, and you've got 4 other tabs. You've got your network, your notification, and jobs, but there is now a 5th tab dedicated solely to video, which I think is really telling because LinkedIn video is becoming more and more important, and I think LinkedIn is looking for content creators to be sharing their video on LinkedIn, and I think it makes perfect sense, especially if you're growing, more of a company focused or entrepreneurial content. I think LinkedIn is a really good place to be sharing.
Absolutely.
Cool. So yeah, we covered a little bit of this, but I think some numbers here. So LinkedIn members love to watch video, myself included.
And me.
Yeah, there is 1.4 times more engagement on videos versus other formats on LinkedIn. So again, if you were to go through and scroll through LinkedIn right now, I would argue that you will probably stop more often on a video than a post, especially now because there isn't all that much video on LinkedIn. So I think now is kind of an interesting opportunity to be one of the first to video on LinkedIn, and I think your content could really stand out, especially for the time being. And then second, you can drive higher engagement and share valuable insights with a community eager to learn from and grow in their career. So if the content you're sharing is career related, if it is business related, if you've got something to share, there's probably an audience for you. And I think the LinkedIn algorithm and feed, they will help you find your audience and vice versa.
And kind of as we mentioned before, LinkedIn members both love to watch and create video. So we're seeing this big increase. Video uploads are up 34% year over year. And I think videos are a great way to bring thoughts and life to your audience. It's a great way to make future collaborations. It's a really great way to get maybe even future employers or future people you might want to connect with to notice you and hear more about your ideas.
Totally. Cool. So how to pick your content niche. So, you're probably thinking, what sort of information do I have that others might find valuable? So here are a couple. Number one, career tips, work-life balance, productivity hacks, networking advice. We found this this content creator named Sagnik, and he works at Cisco, and he's sharing all of the career tips and productivity hacks that he has at his company. You can also do industry news. So, obviously Captions is an AI company, so my feed is probably catered for, generative video and AI. And I've definitely gone down some rabbit holes in terms of exploring, new tools, new companies, new services, some of which I'll show a little bit later. But, I actually, personally, I think LinkedIn is probably my number one social media. I think it often gets a bad rap that people are only on it when they're looking for a new job. I'm very happily employed here, yet I think it's a great way for people to connect and learn from others. And I would say also, if you're in sales, this is also a must-have. You kind of need to have a presence on LinkedIn in order to make sure that people are reaching out to you, you're reaching out to other people. In fact, we're going through an interview process with someone to join my team, and the way that we found them is that they actually DM'd me based off a post that I made about kind of like a hacky website that I created on my own. So I think it also pays dividends in terms of recruitment purposes, where I'm trying to find great talent to join our team, but also I'm spreading some information and news and project that I'm working on, and that is going to thousands of people's feeds, and then they can find me, which has already paid off. Number three, day in a life. I think this is pretty common, and I think, Mara and I live in New York. We've got our own routines. I commute from Brooklyn. You're in Manhattan, yes. And, even the two of us have very different morning routines, but I think you make this on the scale of your country or global. I think this content is really engaging and really easy to follow along with. And then lastly, company updates. I think our co-founders, Dwight and Gaurav, are constantly posting on their own personal LinkedIn, and then our marketing team, Mara and Callie and others on the team, are constantly posting from our official Captions account, and we can show you what that looks like as well. But there's definitely different strategies that you can do as both an individual content creator and as a company.
Yeah, for sure.
Anything to add there, Mara?
I think just kind of what you've already been saying, but I think it is really important to kind of find some type of niche on LinkedIn and any social site, but you kind of want to have a clear voice and a clear story that you're telling. And I think if you're consistently posting, let's say, career tips or interview tips or day in the life content, people kind of know what to look for and what to kind of expect from your account, and then they're excited for your next video and they're kind of coming to you as an expert in that area. And I think that's really what you want on LinkedIn. I think it's a place people are going for tips or tricks or education or information. So making sure that you really stand out and kind of make it clear what your content is about and who you are is going to help you build that audience faster.
Cool. And I think we have one question so far. Just a reminder, we don't want to be just talking your heads off. So if you do have any particular questions, you can get hyper specific, ask for our advice. We love giving advice, whether it's good or not. But yeah, feel free to ask more questions. But I guess we'll take this first one from Midas. Is it better to do voiceover video or talking video on LinkedIn?
It's a great question.
I don't know if you can go wrong. My gut is telling me that if you're trying to build your audience and your brand, people want to see you. If you are creating content that isn't necessarily promoting you as an individual or your brand or your company, I'd say either is great. We're going to dig into it a little bit later, but we're going to show you in Captions how to use the app to edit video that you've recorded, as well as generate video altogether without the use of a camera. And we're doing some really interesting things here. So very good question. We're kind of focused on short form vertical content and what we call talking head videos. So, over the last 4 or 5 years, I think TikTok has really created this world where people are talking directly at camera to the audience and to the viewer. And it's interesting because we've gone through a couple different trends of, directly looking at camera, then we've added B-roll and made it a little bit more exciting. And I think within Captions, we allow you to make that talking head video really, really easily. We have a feature called AI Edit, which will allow you to upload, let's say, a 45-second raw video of you talking at camera. It may not be perfect, you may have pauses. And with AI Edit, you can click, add video, choose a template. You can choose from 25 different templates. We will add captions for you. We'll add transitions, we'll add sound effects, we'll add music, we'll add B-roll, we'll add graphics. And so basically, all you need to do is record the content and we'll take care of making it look good for you and kind of do the work of what a junior editor might do and take 30 minutes of their time, all with just a few taps. So we'll dig into all of that, but great question.
I will just add, for LinkedIn especially, whether you're making voiceover videos or talking head videos, it is very imperative that you use captions, because I think most people who are viewing video content, especially on LinkedIn, are probably watching it without sound. So making sure you have captions means that viewers can understand what your video is about without even having to have sound on. But we'll get more into that.
Yeah, I'm scrolling right now. I'm on LinkedIn. I'm doing 2 things at once, and I'm on mute. No. Cool. So how do you decide on your niche? Maybe Mara, you want to take this one?
Yeah, so as we were saying, kind of important to find your niche and really kind of find your place on LinkedIn, but it can feel overwhelming. Like, there's so many different things you can be making content about, so what is the right niche for you? I think a great place to start is reflecting on what you love to talk about. Are there any topics you feel like you're an expert on or have a lot of information to share? Think about, is there something you're especially qualified to speak about, whether something relates to work that you've done in the past or something you're working on now. I think that's a really great place to start jotting down some ideas. I also think something that does really well on LinkedIn are hot takes. So if you feel like you have kind of a spicy opinion or something that you feel like not a lot of people are talking about, I think that will really help you stand out. It kind of adds like a fresh perspective. And I think that can just be a really fun way to kind of, stand out on LinkedIn and get people chatting in the comments, which is really important. And then I would also say, just start posting and see what resonates. I think you always want to see kind of what your audience and what your community is wanting. So as you post, you can see what comments people are leaving, you can see what feedback you're getting, you can see what's getting the most engagement, and then kind of use that to then inform the next kind of content that you're going to keep making or keep building on.
Totally. And I think to kind of change things up here, I'm actually going to move over to my LinkedIn feed. And I'm going to show you someone who I think is doing a great job with hot takes. So this guy, Greg Eisenberg, I found him through the LinkedIn feed. I eventually went to his YouTube channel. I eventually went to his website. I kind of went down a rabbit hole of all the new companies and tools that he was promoting. And I think a really good example of hot takes is, like, first off, he's got some really great content. And I'd say, if you didn't know about this, you can actually feature content right on your profile. So if there's a particular piece of content you always want customers to find, you can kind of highlight that, and like it's essentially pinning it to the top of all of your content. And if you look at his content, he does have a lot of takes. Like, if you're reading this, like, what a great hook. I feel special for being, having been in his feed, and I think I'm going to look back on this. By the way, for background, his takes and his company are all about how AI is kind of revolutionizing businesses and making SaaS businesses in some cases, like, less relevant, and the fact that small teams can do a lot with AI. And so, like, these are great hooks. If you're reading this, the next billion-dollar company, these are just really hot takes with great hooks. And I think he's just like a really good example of consistently posting a couple times a week. He's adding screenshots. And then actually, if you scroll down a little bit more, he's actually posting video from his YouTube. So something I'm not sure if it's in this slide particularly, but if you are creating long-form content in the form of podcasts, whether they be audio or video, what you also want to be doing is cutting down that long-form content into more digestible portioned. And I think LinkedIn is a good example. So he actually posted like an 8-minute clip, which is pretty long, but he may get someone to hang around for part of this or all of this. But I think what I'm thinking is, wow, this is really exciting. He got, the head of Google's AI studio to come talk to him. He must be somewhat important. He's kind of piqued my interest with a couple of minutes here. I'm going to go in and click more. He's probably going to link me. Yep, he's going to link me to the episode. And all of a sudden, I'm now subscribed to his YouTube channel. Like his funnel completely worked for me, and I'm all on this, especially because of this hot take that got me to scroll. So this is a real world example that happened all in the last 2 or 3 weeks for me particularly. I think we have another example here, Kirsty, which Mara picked out. What tactics do you think she's doing well here?
Yeah, Kirsty is someone who I follow. I really enjoy her content. She does a lot of kind of like day in the life videos, which Eli, I think you were talking about a little bit before. But she posts a lot of the kind of like short form vertical videos, which Captions is great at supporting you with. But yeah, I think her stuff feels very relatable, which is also nice on LinkedIn. I don't know about you, Eli, but sometimes LinkedIn can also almost feel intimidating. Like,
yes.
Yeah, it's cool he was interviewing the head of Google or whoever it was, but then you're kind of like, oh, I don't know if I'm ever going to get there. Am I good enough to be posting on LinkedIn? And I feel like her content is very real. It's very relatable. It makes me feel like I could be creating this type of content. She posts a lot of just like, it's a little bit about her career. It's a little bit about her life. It's a little bit about how she spends her days and balances work and personal life. And I feel like they're quick and easy to watch. They're kind of like comforting and soothing. And I feel like it's a type of content I don't see as much on LinkedIn, which makes it stand out more for me. And she definitely uses captions, which I mentioned before. Like right now, we're kind of just viewing this on silent, but I can follow along to the narrative in the story. I think she's a great example.
Cool. If you have any other examples of people that you follow on LinkedIn that you want us to open up and take a look at, we can also do kind of like a live session and talk about it. Also, if you want to send us your LinkedIn profile, we can pop it open and maybe we can give you some of our own hot takes for you. But we can do anything we want here. Cool. We'll head back to the presentation. Cool. So now we're going to dig in a little bit more about how Captions works and some of the features that are included. So first one being script generator. I would say we were offering this before ChatGPT was kind of a known entity. But I think what's really great is that we've built the tools into the camera itself. So by all means, you can record your content on your iPhone or Android or other camera and import it. But if you actually want to record within the Captions app itself, we have both a script generator, so you can enter in a prompt and we'll help you come up with a script. And then we also have a teleprompter, which means that as you're reading the teleprompter, you're looking directly at camera. There's actually a ring light, so if you're in a low light, it'll actually put a light on your face. You can change the speed, you can change the size, and so this allows you to talk directly at camera, and we have a lot of success with customers like real estate professionals or people talking about their exercise routines or kind of anyone who's on the go where they need to be recording, using a mobile device. So some really cool stuff here.
All right, so how do you actually get started? Let's say you've kind of picked your niche. Maybe you're playing around with ScriptWriter to help you come up with how you're actually going to tell the story and film your video. How do you actually start just getting yourself posting on LinkedIn? I think this is the exact hardest part, just getting started and feeling comfortable with it. I think one of the easiest things to do, at least for myself, is to set some type of goal and an achievable goal, like so you can hold yourself accountable to it. Maybe you just want to try to start posting once a week, let's say. Pick a day that you feel like is open, you're going to be able to always post consistently at the same time, and just start holding yourself, let's say Wednesday at 12. You're going to always post something on LinkedIn. And just kind of keep that as your goal each week that you're remembering and that you're holding yourself to. I also like to block my calendar. It both helps me remember to do it and also kind of holds that time, stops me from overscheduling or putting something else in that spot. And then at the end of the day, you just have to start posting it. It feels really nerve-wracking the first time, especially if your face is in the video. It can feel really uncomfortable. But I would say just post it. We wrote it here. LinkedIn really thrives on authenticity. So even if it's not perfect, as long as it's genuine and as long as it's real, it's going to do well, and you can start seeing what your audience likes and what they're commenting and asking for and go from there.
Yeah, and I can call out a couple more examples. A friend of mine, Zach, he has a company called Tighten It, which basically allows companies that have communities that run on Slack. It allows you to kind of bridge the gaps of what Slack communities don't offer, which is like retention and the ability to onboard people really nicely and a companion site. But I follow Zach and I love his content. We were talking about like his niche. His niche is community. He's a community manager, he's a customer engagement, and every single thing he posts is all about community. It's like community, community, community. And I think he does a really good job. If you look, 4 hours ago, he reposted something a day ago, 4 days ago. Like he's very, very, very consistent. I think every 1 to 2 days he varies GIFs, text, videos, drawings that he's made, screenshots. Like he's really found his audience, and I think he's known as kind of like the person for community management. So another shout out there for like small business. Mm-hmm. And then another similar one is Han, who's the CEO of a company called Mintlify. They create documentation for help centers. And I think from his perspective, he's talking a lot about what it's like to be the CEO of a startup in San Francisco. And he does a lot of like behind the scenes of what it's like to be there. This one I really, at least resonated with me. He has a picture of himself and his team, and then he has a screenshot of the presentation that he gave for his all hands. And his hot take is, don't spend time building beautiful slides. It's a waste of time. Put everything into making the customer experience better. And so these are just very real, authentic sharing. And I think LinkedIn is the perfect place for him. I don't know if this would resonate on Instagram. I think if he built a following on like a TikTok or something, but that would be a lot more work. And I think it would be harder to find his niche. I think this makes perfect sense for both these people, especially because it's so business related, and both of these people are founders. So they're probably looking for sales. They're looking for people to join their team. Like they're doing it exactly right. Awesome. And then maybe just some quick tips before shooting. I'm sure there's people joining with all levels of understanding of actual production, but keep it short. Under 2 minutes is the sweet spot. I think no one really has the attention span they did in quite a few years. But I think, yeah, short is definitely worth it. I think be concise. You definitely don't want to be stealing people's time. I think at the end of the video, they would like to feel as if they learned something and they were happy they tuned in for that 30 seconds or 60 seconds, as opposed to some buyer's remorse there. Decide on your hook. Again, I talked about hooks before with Greg. Hooks are really, really important, and you just need to get people invested in sticking around. And like it sounds obvious, but film in a well-lit environment. I think you can do some movie magic in post. I think a feature that we have, which is related to this, is we have a feature called eye contact, which if you tap it, it will automatically direct the eyes forward, which is really great if we're reading off a script off camera. And then for noise, we have something called denoise. It'll actually, if you're in a very noisy room or outside in the elements, it'll actually separate the audio track from the vocals and the audio track from the background, suppress the background, and it'll sound like you've been recording inside of basically a studio, which is really cool. For lighting, we are working on some things like color grading, but you do want to make sure that you record in the best environment possible. Yep, busy setting, probably going to be too much noise. Definitely don't use other people's content without their permission. That should go without saying, but it is super important and worth noting. And then make sure you have some clear talking points when you hit that record button.
And I think something that's really cool is you can actually do all of these things super easy within the Captions app. So like Eli was mentioning, you want to make sure you have good lighting. Not everyone is going to have a studio with expensive equipment. And in the Captions app, you can actually turn on a ring light. So as you film, it kind of lights up your face, and it actually makes it really look like you were filming somewhere with high quality studio lighting. And we also have a teleprompter tool. I think we'll get into that on the next slide. But you can paste in your script, and that way you can read all of your lines as they're coming out, so you can film everything in one spot. And if you do have some background noise or some audio that you don't want, it can be easy to get an echo even if you're in a quiet room. We also have a feature called denoise. So after you've gone through and filmed your video, you can tap denoise and it will actually remove all of that background noise for you. So you'll get like a really crisp, clear sound.
Oh, did I tap twice? No, I guess we're
good.
good. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we talked about this a little bit before, but AI edit. So again, you don't need to be a professional editor to create professional looking videos. It really is amazing. This is cutting edge stuff where you just upload your raw video of you speaking and we will kind of do the movie magic. And all you need to do is choose a template and we will do all the clipping and the trimming, the sound effects, the music, the B-roll, everything you see here. This was all automatically generated to make your video really pop. Cool, and then something kind of unique, at least on iOS at the moment, you can, once you've created your video, once you export it, you can actually publish it directly to LinkedIn if you have the LinkedIn iOS app on your phone, which is really cool, kind of saves you a step, but otherwise you can always upload it to any platform that you choose or just choose from your camera roll. But if you notice here, we have a title, description, so not only do we let you export the video, but you can copy the description, which you can use in your LinkedIn post, which is also really helpful. Cool. And then lastly, we're on the how to engage and grow your audience. So I think some really good tactics here are posing questions. Obviously, we have our network, which we want to engage with. So asking a question by default, people want to answer those questions. I think also coming back to these hot takes, the hotter the take, the more people are going to disagree with you, and then people are going to disagree with those people. Not that you want to create an unnecessary stir, but I think having strong opinions is why people are coming to LinkedIn, because they do want to learn from experts. And guess what? Not all experts agree. So I think posing questions is a great way to start the conversation. Maybe Mara can talk about comments, because she's responding to comments all the time for our posts.
Yeah, I think to Eli's point, pose questions, try to get people really chatting in your comments, and then you want to make sure you're responding. So if people are answering your question, if people are asking you other questions, if people are, just like giving you feedback like, hey, this is really interesting, can you do a video on X next? You know, make sure you're answering everybody, make sure you're making everyone feel heard and noticed. I think that's probably like a really great place to start. And then, as I said, use those comments as inspiration. I find a lot of times people are leaving comments asking for what they want to see next, which is really awesome. You'll never run out of ideas. So make sure you're kind of checking in, see what people might be suggesting that you make more content on, see what people are enjoying, and then keep creating videos based on those comments and those suggestions.
Cool.
And then I think you also want to try to really crack the entire LinkedIn algorithm, not just your own network. So a great way to do that is to also make sure that you're interacting with other videos you see on LinkedIn. So if you see a video you like, drop a comment in, maybe ask them a question, answer their question if they left one. Try to really like grow your network by engaging with others. It'll also kind of help you build this LinkedIn community. Also try to look for others that are also on a content journey, like maybe some of the other attendees in this webinar today. Try to find other people that either have a little bit more experience than you or are just getting started, or maybe are in a similar boat than you, and kind of learn from each other, share ideas, and you can really grow together. And one really cool thing about LinkedIn is there are LinkedIn groups. So there are actually built-in communities already on LinkedIn that can be great for you to join and be a part of. You can find other people who are sharing tips on how to post videos or grow your brand on LinkedIn. You can find groups for people, maybe if you're in like real estate or banking or fitness, like maybe you want to find other creators that are specifically in that niche. And I think LinkedIn groups are a great place to do that and find people that you can support that will support you back.
Cool. So I think we covered almost everything here. We've got some previous webinars that you can also check out on our YouTube channel. And yeah, let's head to Q&A. All right.
Awesome.
Were there any other questions
I
that people
don't
had?
currently see other questions in the chat, but we could also open up the Captions app and show people around a little bit.
Yeah, let's do that.
And yeah, please leave questions in the chat. We're here to answer them.
All right, so just a quick recap. We have the Captions app on iPhone, on Android, and our web app. So just go to desktop.captions.ai. However you signed up with your redemption for the free year, just make sure you sign in with that same method to make sure that you're not creating a second account. From the home screen, you can see a couple options. You can see all of your existing projects. You can also see how to start creating a project. So uploading a video, very simple. Choose a video from your computer that you would like to start with. So you can choose a video here, and very simply, you can just, if it's ready to go and all you need is like captions and you want to do some quick edits, you can upload the video and then you can add captions from here. Oh, just a moment. Gotta start screen sharing again. Just a moment.
Well, while we get that figured out, I'll pose a question to the chat. Has anyone started posting videos? Do you have any questions about what you're trying to create, or any questions about tips for how to best use captions? I know we covered a lot in the webinar last week. It was more of like a how to use captions and get started. But yeah, let us know if you actually have started using captions and maybe you found something that you like or something you want to learn more about. We're here and can walk you through it.
Cool. And then from left to right, you can do AI creators, and this essentially allows you to type in a script. So LinkedIn style video about why video is king. So you can just type in a prompt and it will help you generate a script that you would actually want to read yourself or one of our AI creators to read. Okay, looks great. Edit style. You can actually choose from different creators that we have available as AI creators. So for this, again, if you're using your brand, I would say you can actually use your AI twin to speak your video. So what's really cool is we have this AI twin feature where you can record a 1-minute video of yourself, and then we will create an AI twin on your behalf. And then you can choose your twin to basically say whatever you have on script. So if you're not someone who really loves creating content on video and being in front of camera, there's actually a solve for that, which is record a 1-minute video and then you'll never need to use the camera again. So this is pretty incredible. So you generate the video and now my AI twin will speak that exact script, which is pretty awesome. AI shorts, we talked about this a little bit, or maybe not, but if you have longer form content like a video podcast, you can cut it down. So all you need to do to repurpose your video is paste in your YouTube URL or upload a video as well. And we'll cut down your 1.5-hour long video into 8 30-second segments that you can then upload to YouTube Reels and things like that. And then lastly, AI edit. We talked about this a little bit, but you can choose your particular video. I'm going to choose this one. I'm on a alpha version of Captions, so apologies here, but essentially you can choose one of your template styles, and essentially it will automatically generate a brand new, I had something, lost screen share one more time. Oh, I know what happened here. I took away one of our beta features, and I think it's screwing it up. Okay, let me open this up again. All right, let's try this one more time. So now I've got a project open that's already been created. And from here, you can obviously do all the editing with images and clips and sounds. And you can do generative video, generative image, generative sound effects, generative music, generative voice. Everything you would need can be right here inside the editor itself. So yeah, this is just a quick overview of how the desktop app works. I'd also recommend if you need additional help or want to learn more, you can go to help.captions.ai. That's where we have all of our help center, our integrations. You can find out what's new on the app. And from here, you can learn every single nook and cranny of the app. So highly recommend you go there.
And I think we did get one question here about part 1, the webinar that was out last week. Yes, you can still watch it. I'll share a link to it in the chat so you can watch it right after this.
Cool. All right. Now would be a great time if you have any more questions. Other than that, we'll add the link in the chat. This will be on the replay. I'm sure we'll email this out in the next day or two. So if you're watching this and hearing me say that, we did what we said we would do. But no, it's been a pleasure to chat with you all. If you have any questions, you can always chat us in the app. We have 24/7 support, which is pretty incredible. Just click on the little question mark or go to profile, click chat. You'll get a member of my team replying to, we've got coverage 24/7, 365. Again, you can go to our help center, help.captions.ai. And then obviously, if you want to check us out on our LinkedIn, just search for Captions and you'll find us there. And you can interact with us and you can comment on one of our latest videos that you found us through this webinar.
Also, definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. We do post videos and video tutorials like once a week. So it can also be a great way to learn more about how you can use Captions to help with your content creation journey.
Cool. All right. If there's no more questions,
I think that's it.
Yeah. Have a great day.
Thanks so much for joining.
See you on LinkedIn.